What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best WNBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now, I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 22 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong and got 22 right, which is about a 94% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 94% win rate. So we're in a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 94% win rate and get 22 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,455 just yesterday, and another member who won $998 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Brian Adams 2794 who said you got it, bro, and shouts out to Lemon Piper who said love you as well. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Alana Smith, and this one is for 9.5 rebounds, and this one is for less. Now looking at Alana Smith, we actually have seen her go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now when we look at the last 5 games, we do see on July 2 faced off against Indiana, actually had 15 points there. After that, on July 4, faced off against Washington Mystics, had 10 points there. Then July 6, faced off against Golden State Valkyries, had 5 points in that matchup. And then July 7th, against Chicago, had 4 points. Then July 10 against Phoenix had 2 points there. So we definitely have seen, Alana Smith, like I mentioned, going the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, when we look at those last 5 games and the average, we've actually seen her average 7.2. So it's definitely been interesting there. Now, looking at this matchup more in depth, we also do see that Minnesota Lynx face off against the Los Angeles Sparks. Now, when we look at the matchup between both of these teams, we do know that, Minnesota Lynx do actually rank first in the WNBA. They've been on an absolute tear. They rank number 1 in, the WNBA, but also rank number 1 in the Western Conference. They have a record of 17 wins and 2 losses, an 89.5% win percentage. They are 11-0 at home, 6-2 from away, and are currently on a 5-game win streak. So it's definitely been, pretty interesting there. Now, when we look at, the other side of the table, looking at Los Angeles Sparks, and what I mean by the other side of the table is that Sparks haven't really done too well because they actually ranked 10th in the WNBA. So they rank very low. On top of that, they have a record of also 6 wins and 13 losses, a 31.6% win percentage. They're 1-7 from home, 5-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So looking at this one, it's definitely an interesting one because we actually do see Los Angeles Sparks defensively do actually rank, when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 12th. So they rank pretty low when it comes to actually, points allowed. However, the reason why we do still like the under for this situation here is when we look at someone like Alana Smith, we do very much think the under is more likely to happen as, Los Angeles Sparks actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to the forward position. Alana Smith is a forward, and because of that, we definitely see Sparks being able to take advantage of that and force her on the under in this one. On top of that, Smith also hasn't really had the best games as of recent. Her usage rate has definitely been on the lower side, and we definitely see that continuing on into this next game, no doubt about it. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the under for this one. When you look at the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So Alana Smith, 9.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Sonia Citron. Now Sonia, great player. This one is for 13.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Sonia, we've actually have seen her go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those last 5 games, we see on June 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had 9 points in that matchup. Then after that, also faced off against on June 27th against the Las Vegas Aces, had 21 points there. Then June 29th, faced off against Dallas Wings, had 22 points in that matchup. And July 4th, faced off against Minnesota Lynx, where she had 7 points. And then July 9th, against Chicago Sky, actually had 13 points in that matchup. So we actually have seen Sonia go on the under in 3 out of the last 5, as we've mentioned. And her average over the last 5 is also 14.4. So it's definitely been an interesting game. Now looking at Sonia Citron and, actually her matchup again for this game is going to be Washington Mystics against the Las Vegas Aces. Now looking at where both of these teams do stand, it's definitely been a big game, but we do actually see that, Washington Mystics do actually rank 8th in the WNBA with a record of 9 wins and 10 losses. So they have a 47.4% win percentage. They are 6-3 from home, 3-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. Then looking on the other side of the table, we also have seen that, actually Sonia Citron and Washington Mystics faced off against Aces, and Aces on the other side of the actual conference. They are in the Western Conference. They rank 9th in the WNBA with 9 wins, 10 losses, a 47.4% win percentage, and it's 5 from 4 from home, 4-6 from away, and also on a 1-game losing streak. So it's definitely been interesting there. Now looking at Sonia Citron coming into this game, we definitely do very much like this situation, as we do actually see that looking at the Las Vegas Aces, the Aces do rank when it comes to points allowed. They do rank 9th, but they rank very, very high when it comes to restricting points to the guard position. So for that reason, when we look on a more per position basis, we definitely are expecting the under for this situation here. Now, when we look at someone like Sonia as well, we also do see that her usage rate has been a little bit on the lower side, especially. Now, obviously, in a game on June 27th against the Aces, she did have 21 points. There are going to be outlier games like that. That was definitely one of them. We are expecting her to come back down to reality, and we are expecting Aces also to make adjustments, since she did score quite a lot in that, recent matchup between these two. So we are expecting the Aces to come out with a different strategy, and also with some different, defensive strategies more particularly, and it could definitely affect Sonia Citron's usage rate out there on the floor. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favorite for the under as well. So Sonia Citron, 13.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Kelsey Plum. Now, when we look at Kelsey Plum, we actually do see this as a very, very good pick, because this one is for 17.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Kelsey Plum, we actually have seen her go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, you see on June 25th, faced off against Chicago and had 20 points there. Then June 27th, faced off against Indiana, had 21 points. Then June 30th, faced off against Chicago, had 22 points. Then 13 points against New York Liberty on July 4th. And then July 6th against Indiana actually had 20 points there. So we actually have seen Kelsey Plum, go on the under, like I said, in 1 out of the last 5 games, and her average over the last 5 is also 19.2. So pretty interesting there. Now, looking at this matchup, we do know that Los Angeles Sparks face off against Minnesota Lynx. Now, we have touched on them, but just to remind you all, they do rank first in the WNBA when it comes to Minnesota Lynx. Great record. They are also, over the last 10 games, 8-2. So they've definitely have a very, very good record there. On top of that, looking on the other side of things, we also do see that when they face off against, none other than Los Angeles Sparks, which is where Kelsey Plum plays, Kelsey Plum and Los Angeles Sparks rank 11th, and their record over the last 10 games is 3-7. So very, very interesting there. Now, looking at this matchup more in depth, we do know Minnesota Lynx are a great defensive team, and they actually rank first when it comes to points allowed. So this one's kind of a no-brainer to us, why we do like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like, Kelsey Plum going on the under in this situation due to that. And on top of that, what we also do see is that when we look at a player like Kelsey Plum, yes, she has gone on the over quite often over the last 5, but you do also have to realize it was against teams that were a little bit on, the easier side when it came to matchups, as in allowing quite a lot of points. So we are expecting definitely a different outcome coming into this next game for sure. So looking at this matchup more intensely as well, we also do know that Minnesota Lynx do like to slow the ball and slow the pace down of a lot of games, especially against faster paced teams. Now Sparks are a little bit faster paced, and what we are expecting in this matchup is that Minnesota are going to try to stop Kelsey Plum as much as they can and slow the pace down. And as we all know, slower pace means less volume means less opportunity to score the ball. So that one's a no-brainer to us. Like I mentioned, when it comes to the bookies and what they have to say, bookies agree with us here. They do have her favored for the under as well. So Kelsey Plum, 17.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Natisha Hiedeman. So as you all know, Natisha Hiedeman, great player for none other than Minnesota Lynx. And we have actually seen her so far this season average 7.4 points, 2.1 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and also get 0.5 steals. So we actually have seen her do a fantastic job there. Now when we look at someone like Minnesota Lynx, we also do see that their matchup is against none other than Los Angeles Sparks. Now looking at Los Angeles Sparks, and looking at where both these teams do rank, we have briefly touched on this, but just to remind you all again, Minnesota Lynx have been on an absolute tear. They are number one in the WNBA, but also number one in the Western Conference. They have a record of actually 17 wins and 3 losses, and 85% win percentage, are also 11-0 at home, 6-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So it's definitely been interesting there. Now, when we look at someone or a team like, their matchup, which is Los Angeles Sparks, we also do know that they have been on a bit of the short end of the stick, because they do come in at the 11th spot in the actual WNBA, because they actually have a record of 6 wins and 13 losses. So they aren't doing too well. They also rank 6th in the Western Conference, and that's 6 out of the 7 teams that are in the Western Conference. So very poorly. A 31.6% win percentage. They are 1-7 from home, 5-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So both of these teams are looking to push to try to get this win. But looking at this matchup and looking at where Los Angeles Sparks do rank, we do know that the Sparks do actually rank when it comes to points allowed. They do rank 12th, rank 11th in assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed. We also do see that they rank 4th. So looking at this matchup, we also do see that when it comes to Natisha, we do actually like the over for this situation here, but strictly just for points and assists. Now this definitely works out in our favor, since Sparks do rank higher in that rebounding category. We are staying away from that when it comes to Natisha. But on top of that, what we also do see is that when it actually comes to Natisha, she does have a higher usage rate in the points and assist department. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the over for this one. Now looking at her last 5 games, she's definitely played some pretty big games. We see against Indiana Fever, had a 74-59 loss. She had 3 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists there. Then on the 4th, faced off against Washington Mystics, had a 92-75 win with 4 points, 1 rebound, and 4 assists there. After that, against Golden State Valkyries, had an 82-71 victory, had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Then faced off against Chicago, had 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 6 points against Phoenix Mercury with a 79-71 loss. So we definitely seen Natisha Hiedeman go, very well in some games. Other games hasn't done too well. But we have definitely seen that when Natisha does face off against easier teams, her usage rate tends to be a little bit more higher. So we definitely are expecting to see her go on the over in this situation here. When it comes to this matchup, it's definitely going to be, an interesting one, because we do know that Minnesota Lynx are looking to try to continue to, get some wins under their belt, and Los Angeles Sparks are trying to find their way out the gutter. So it's definitely going to be an intense game, but we definitely see Natisha going on the over here, especially in the points and assist department. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Now getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Dana Evans. So Dana Evans from Las Vegas Aces has done a fantastic job so far this season, because she's actually averaged 6.2 points, 0.8 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. assists and also 0.4 steals. Now looking at Las Vegas Aces, we do know that they face off against the Washington Mystics. Now looking at the Washington Mystics, we do know ranking wise, looking at Aces first, we do know that they rank 9th in the Western Conference. They also rank 6th in the Western Conference with a record of 9 wins and 10 losses and a 47.4% win percentage. They're also 5-4 from home, 4-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. On top of that, we also look at Washington Mystics and see that Mystics are only a slot above, or 1 slot above, ranking in at the 8th spot in the WNBA. Now they rank 4th in the Eastern Conference, however, and have a record of 9 wins and 10 losses, 47.4% win percentage as well, so it'll probably come down to points for and against. And on top of that, they also are 6-3 from home and 3-7 from away. Now, looking at this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. But looking at the Washington Mystics defensively, we do know Mystics rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. They also rank 4th when it comes to assists allowed and 3rd when it comes to rebounds allowed. So, looking at this matchup for someone like Dana Evans, we do actually like the over for this situation here, strictly just for points. Now, when it comes to Dana Evans, we are expecting more of a lineup to come out for points, as she does have a main usage rate for that. You know, Dana Evans doesn't really do too much rebounding, doesn't really do too much playmaking. Points is definitely where she does shine, and we definitely have seen her shine against, you know, easier matchups when it comes to restricting points, and that's what we are expecting in this game as well. Since Mystics do rank really low, we definitely are expecting Dana Evans to be able to take advantage of that and go on the over here. Now, looking at some of her most recent matchups over the last 5, we actually saw her face off against the Mystics recently on the 27th of last month, had a 94-83 loss, had 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. Then faced off against Phoenix, had an 84-81 victory with 0 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Then faced off against Indiana Fever with an 81-54 loss with 3 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. Then faced off against Connecticut with an 86-68 victory with 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Then on the 9th, faced off against New York Liberty, had an 87-78 loss with 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist there. So it's definitely been an interesting one for it. Now, looking at someone like Dana Evans, we also do see that, you know, in that most recent Mystics game, she was able to get 12 points, which is double her actual average. So we definitely sort of take advantage of the points category there, and we are expecting to see a similar outcome coming into this next one. So for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here. So keep an eye out for Dana Evans, but like I said, for the points department, so keep an eye out for that. So Dana Evans for 6.2 points, you know, keep an eye out for that line, because if the line is under that average, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Rickea Jackson. Now, looking at Rickea Jackson against the Los Angeles Sparks, we do see that Los Angeles Sparks do actually, you know, have themselves a decent matchup, and as we all know, we all know they faced off against the Lynx. Now, I do have to mention as well, guys and girls, that all the matchups are going to be from these 2 games. There are only 2 games in the WNBA today. But Rickea has actually averaged 11.9 points, 2.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 0.7 steals. So we definitely are expecting, you know, her to have some big games during this regular season, and she does have a decent usage rate. But coming into this next game, it is a little bit different. So like I mentioned, they face off against Minnesota Lynx, and just to remind you again, Lynx do rank 1st in the WNBA. Now, in the last 10 games, they do have a record of 8-2. So Minnesota Lynx have been on a roll. Los Angeles Sparks rank 11th, as we've mentioned, but in the last 10 games, they rank 3 out of 7. So very interesting there. But looking at Minnesota Lynx defensively, as we all know, they rank 1st in points allowed, also rank 2nd in assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 8th. So they do rank a little bit lower in that rebounding category. But when it comes to Rickea Jackson, we do like the under for this situation here for all 3 categories. Now, when we look at this matchup, it's definitely an interesting one because, you know, Rickea Jackson is a big player for this team, but we definitely see her going on the under since Lynx do a fantastic job at restricting, you know, pretty much all the major categories. Now, the reason why we still like the under for rebounds is that when it comes to Rickea Jackson's position, even though Lynx do rank a little bit bit lower in rebounds allowed in total. They actually do a great job at restricting rebounds to Rickea's position. So that's where we definitely see taking advantage of it. So looking at this matchup, it's definitely going to be a big one for us. Now, looking at Rickea Jackson, we also do see that, when it comes to her usage rate, it's definitely from Sparks playing a very fast-paced type basketball. Now, Minnesota Lynx are a slow-paced team. They are a little bit slower pace. And what we have seen time and time again is that the way Minnesota Lynx have been able to restrict teams from points and assists is due to the fact that they do a great job at slowing down faster-paced teams. So we definitely see that happening, and coming into this game, we are expecting them to slow down, not only just the Sparks, but Rickea Jackson. And as we all know, slower pace means less volume, and less volume means less opportunity. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this one. So keep an eye out for Rickea Jackson coming into this game. If the line is too close to our averages, then definitely look to go on the under. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Sug Sutton. So Sug Sutton, great player for none other than Washington Mystics. And when we look at someone like Washington Mystics, or a team like Washington Mystics, and we also do see they face off against the Aces, we look at Sutton, we see that she has actually averaged 7.4 points, 1.6 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 1.1 steals. So we have seen Sug do a great job, and looking at the Mystics and Aces matchup, just to reiterate again, we do know Mystics rank 8th in the WNBA. They also rank 4th in the Eastern Conference, but over the last 10 games have a record of 6-4. And then they face off against the Aces. Aces, on the other hand, actually ranked 9th in the WNBA, have a record of 9 wins and 10 losses. And they also have a record over the last 10 of 4-6. So it's definitely going to be an exciting game, but coming into this next one, we do very much like this matchup, because we are seeing that Sug Sutton from the Washington Mystics has herself a defensive matchup, which is Aces, and Aces do actually rank 9th when it comes to points allowed, 10th when it comes to assists allowed, and 10th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, and for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here. Now, we definitely see someone like Sug being able to go on the over in a situation like this, as Aces have done a poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. And looking at her last 5 games, we see against on the 23rd of last month, faced off against Dallas Wings, had a 91-88 victory, had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists there. Then faced off against Minnesota Lynx, had a 68-64 win with 12 points, 1 rebound, and 4 assists. Then after that, faced off against the Las Vegas Aces, had a 94-83 victory with 17 points, 1 rebound, and 5 assists. And then faced off against Dallas with a 79-71 loss with 12 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. And then Chicago, facing off against them, had an 81-79 victory, had 9 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. So we definitely have seen Sug Sutton go, very well in some games, especially against tougher teams. And we are expecting a similar matchup for her, coming into this Aces game, as Aces do a pretty poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. That's a big reason why we do like the over for this situation here. So keep an eye out for Sug Sutton. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially if the line is under her averages.